Rome, 1633. The most powerful court on earth is staring at one man, a 69-year-old scientist, weak, sick, exhausted. And the men in front of him have a simple choice: say the words, or we make your life hell. But here's where it gets disturbing. This man didn't kill anyone, didn't steal anything, didn't start a war. His crime? He looked up at the sky and saw something he wasn't supposed to see. Something that proved everything they believed was wrong. And the man who put him here wasn't just his enemy. He was once his biggest fan. He wrote an entire poem celebrating his genius and called him the greatest mind of the age. He was his friend. And now, he was the Pope, and he wanted Galileo silenced. This is the story of Galileo Galilei, and I promise you, nobody taught you this version. To understand how Galileo ended up in that room, you have to go back to a university classroom in Pisa, 1589. Galileo is 25 years old, not yet famous, barely employed, scraping by on a lecturer's salary so embarrassingly low that colleagues pitied him. But he has something that money can't buy. He asks questions nobody else is asking. For almost 2,000 years, the Western world had been run by one man's ideas. Not a king, not a pope. A Greek philosopher named Aristotle, dead since 322 BC. Aristotle said heavier objects fall faster than lighter ones. It sounds obvious, logical, and for 2 millennia, not a single person in the civilized world questioned it. Galileo did. One day, and this story may be part legend, but the science behind it is completely real, Galileo climbed to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, in each hand a cannonball. One heavy, one light. He dropped them both. They hit the ground at exactly the same time. 2,000 years of accepted truth, shattered in 3 seconds. But here's what they never tell you. The professors who watched from below didn't applaud. They were furious, because Galileo hadn't just proven Aristotle wrong. He had made every teacher, every scholar, every intellectual in Europe look like a fool for never questioning it. That was Galileo's first lesson in a pattern that would define his entire life. Being right was never enough. Being right loudly in public, that was dangerous. He didn't learn that lesson. Not then. Maybe not ever. By 1609, Galileo is 45 years old. His reputation has grown, but so has his debt. He has moved to the University of Padua, better position, more intellectual freedom, but he is supporting his entire family on a professor's salary while secretly funding his own experiments. The money is running out. And then, a rumor reaches him from the Netherlands. A lens maker named Hans Lippershey had invented a device, 2 lenses arranged in a tube that could make distant objects appear dramatically closer. Merchants were already using it to spot trading ships before competitors could. Galileo had never seen the device. He had only heard about it secondhand. Within 24 hours, he built his own version from scratch. Then he improved it, made it more powerful. And then, here's the part they definitely don't teach you in school, he walked it straight into the Venetian Senate and presented it as his own invention. He got a massive salary raise. Was it brilliant? Was it dishonest? Probably both. But what Galileo did next with that telescope is what changed human history forever. He pointed it at the sky. January 7th, 1610, a cold, clear night in Padua. Galileo turns his telescope toward Jupiter and sees something strange. 4 tiny points of light sitting close to the planet, almost perfectly aligned. He assumes they're background stars and moves on. But the next night, he looks again. They've moved. Stars don't move like that. He watches, night after night, meticulously recording every position, every shift, every pattern. And slowly, the truth becomes impossible to deny. Those 4 points of light are orbiting Jupiter. They are moons. And if moons can orbit Jupiter, then not everything in the universe orbits Earth. For over 1,000 years, the Church had built an entire worldview on one idea. Earth is the center of creation. man at the center of God's universe. It wasn't just theology, it was the foundation of how all of Western civilization understood its own existence. Galileo had just found hard, observable, undeniable proof that it was wrong. He published his findings immediately. The book, Sidereus Nuncius, The Starry Messenger, sold out across Europe within weeks. Overnight, Galileo became the most famous scientist alive. But he didn't know that in Rome, powerful men had begun to take notice, and they were not impressed. 1616, the church makes its first move. Galileo is summoned to Rome, not to a trial, not yet, but to a quiet, formal meeting. Cardinal Bellarmine, one of the Vatican's most powerful figures, delivers the message personally. The idea that Earth moves around the sun has been officially declared heresy. Galileo is not to teach it, not to defend it, not to publish it, ever. Galileo listens, nods, agrees. He walks out with an official document, a written record of the warning, signed and sealed. He folds it carefully and keeps it close, because something in Galileo's mind is already calculating. He knows this conversation happened. He has the proof. And somewhere beneath the polite agreement, he has no intention of staying quiet forever. And then, in 1623, everything changes. Galileo's old friend, a man named Maffeo Barberini, a fellow intellectual, a man who had genuinely admired Galileo's work for years and had once written a poem in his honor, becomes Pope. Pope Urban VIII, the most powerful man in the Catholic world. Galileo travels to Rome. He meets with Urban 8 times in 6 weeks. They talk science, philosophy, the nature of the universe. The Pope is warm, encouraging. He tells Galileo carefully that perhaps there is room, just a little room, to explore these ideas again, as long as it's framed as theory, as long as the Church's position is treated with respect. Galileo returns home feeling something he hasn't felt in years: hope. He sits down and begins writing the most ambitious book of his life, a work that would lay out for the entire world to see the true nature of the solar system. He writes with confidence, with excitement, with the certainty of a man who believes he finally has protection. What he doesn't know, what he can't know yet, is that somewhere inside those pages, he is about to make a catastrophic mistake, one that will cost him everything. And the man who will sign his destruction is the same man who called him a friend. 1632. Galileo is 68 years old. The book is finally finished. He calls it Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. And on the surface, it looks perfectly safe. It's written as a conversation between 3 characters, one who believes the Earth moves around the sun, one who defends the old model, and one neutral observer in the middle. Brilliant, clean, untouchable. Except for one detail: the character defending the old Earth-centered model, the one who keeps losing every argument, the one who looks increasingly confused, increasingly foolish throughout the entire book. Galileo named him Simplicio. In Italian, Simplicio, the simpleton. And the arguments Galileo put inside Simplicio's mouth, the arguments that kept getting demolished page after page, were almost word for word the arguments Pope Urban VIII had personally shared with Galileo during their private meetings. Whether it was intentional or an act of stunning arrogance, nobody knows for certain. But it didn't matter, because somewhere in Rome, someone placed the book in front of the Pope, and Urban VIII started reading. Imagine being the most powerful man in the world and opening a best-selling book to find your own words, your private thoughts, your personal philosophy stuffed inside a character called the Idiot, written by the man you called your friend. Urban VIII's reaction was not cold or calculated, it was volcanic. He pulled the book from circulation immediately. He ordered an investigation. He demanded Galileo be brought to Rome, not for a polite conversation this time, for trial. Galileo, now 68 years old, wrote back explaining he was too ill to travel. His doctors confirmed it in writing. For months he delayed, hoping the storm would pass. It didn't. Rome's message came back sharp and final. Come, or we will bring you. June 1333, Rome. The Inquisition chamber is not a dramatic dungeon. That's what makes it worse. It's a quiet, formal room, official, bureaucratic. Men in robes sitting behind long tables, papers stacked neatly in front of them, writing as they speak. Galileo Galilei stands before them, old, half-blind, his knees aching from weeks of travel and weeks of waiting in a holding house while the church prepared its case. The charge? Suspicion of heresy. They have his book, they have his words, and they have something else, a document from 1616, the signed warning. Cardinal Bellarmine's official order telling Galileo never to teach, defend, or publish the heliocentric model. Galileo had signed it, and then written the most famous scientific book of the century defending exactly that. The judges lean forward. There is no jury, there is no defense lawyer, there is only Galileo and the full weight of the most powerful institution on earth pressing down on one question. Do you recant? Here is the thing about courage that nobody talks about. It's easy to be brave in the abstract. It's easy to imagine yourself standing firm, defiant, staring down your accusers with fire in your eyes. It's much harder when you are 69 years old, half-blind, exhausted, and the men across the table are quietly reminding you what tools of persuasion are available to them. On June 22nd, 1333, Galileo Galilei got on his knees. He read the prepared statement in a flat, quiet voice. He declared that the earth does not move, that the sun revolves around it, that everything he had written, everything he had discovered, everything he had spent 40 years of his life proving was wrong. The room was completely silent when he finished. And historians debate whether this actually happened, but the story has survived 4 centuries because it feels true. As Galileo slowly rose from the floor, he whispered, almost to himself, Eppur si muove, and yet it moves. The verdict? House arrest. For life. No prison, no execution, but Galileo was to remain confined, monitored, under permanent supervision of the church until the day he died. He was taken to his villa in Arcetri, outside Florence, a small house on a hill, surrounded by vineyards, quiet and isolated. Most men would have broken completely. Galileo picked up a pen. Because here is what the Inquisition could not take from him. The ideas were already out. The moons of Jupiter had already been seen. The mathematics were already written. The church could burn his book, but they could not unring that bell. Over the next 4 years, nearly blind, confined to his property, Galileo wrote his greatest scientific work, 2 New Sciences, the book that would directly inspire Newton, that would lay the groundwork for modern physics that scientists would still be referencing centuries later. And then he faced one final problem. No Italian publisher would touch it. So Galileo did what Galileo always did. He found another way. He smuggled the manuscript out of Italy, page by page, through trusted hands, across the border, all the way to the Netherlands, where it was published freely, read widely, and spread across Europe like fire. The church had silenced the man. They could not silence the work. Rome, 1633. An old man on his knees, eyes nearly blind, hands shaking, the most powerful chord in the world watching him fold. That's the image history gives us, the broken scientist, the defeated genius. But here's what that image misses. At the moment Galileo knelt in that chamber and whispered those words, and yet it moves, every planet in our solar system was already doing exactly what he said. Jupiter's moons were orbiting, Earth was spinning, the sun was sitting exactly where he placed it. The universe did not stop to wait for the church's approval. Galileo died in 1642, under house arrest, completely blind, never pardoned. It took the Catholic Church 350 years to officially admit he was right. 350 years. And today, the same institution that forced him to his knees
keeps his middle finger, literally his preserved middle finger, on display in a museum in Florence. Make of that what you will. But every time you look up at the night sky, every time a telescope photographs a distant galaxy, every time a spacecraft leaves Earth's atmosphere and navigates by the same mathematics Galileo wrote while confined to a house on a hill, that old man is still out there, still moving. Eppur si muove.